Hey, I just got off a call with a colleague, and when we were talking, she's like, Brittany, I've been working as an attending physician for 2 years and I have nothing to show for it. So if you are a woman in medicine, either working as a nurse practitioner, or a physician like me, and you want to learn how to save more money, then you are in the right place, because I'm gonna teach you exactly how I coach my client to save more. Hello again, and welcome to my channel. I am Dr. Brittany Helford, your internal medicine physician and your wealth coach. And on this channel, I teach you how to have more joy and more wealth so that you can create the life you desire. And in this video, we are gonna talk about how to increase your savings so that you can start to feel like you have enough and know that you got money in the bank and money to spend on joy. Okay, some more joy. Now, when I got off the phone with this client, she really was just so upset and frustrated and a little ashamed about the amount of money that she has in the bank. And she even mentioned that her father works in finance and she's embarrassed about revealing this to her father because, you know, as physicians, we make a little bit of money. Like, we make a solid penny, and she felt that she should have more. And the biggest problem that I see with many women who just wish they had more money in the bank is that they don't have the structures and the systems in place in order to save. Now, you may think that saving is quite easy and what structures or systems are required. And I'm so happy that you asked, because when we are managing our money and we're receiving our paycheck from our employer and it's going into that one account or maybe two accounts, you have co-mingling of that money. So if your savings is mixed with the money that you're supposed to use to pay your bills and spend for joy, what do you think you're gonna do with those savings? You are likely going to spend it. So whenever you're trying to achieve financial success, and one of the key tenets of financial success is making sure that you have money left over for emergencies, for investing, and sometimes a little bit of overspending. I'm just gonna be honest. I've definitely used savings to fund my lifestyle. Do as I say, not as I do. Now, back to my point, is that you want to have separation within your structure of your finances so you can employ this out of sight, out of mind. If your savings are in the same account with your expenses, you're likely going to spend that money. So you want to have a savings account. Now, the savings account is something that we've heard about for years, probably since you were a child. My parents would always teach me, Brittany, make sure you save your money and you don't spend everything. And that's what I hear. Like, I was just taught to save. And our savings are so important, but when you're saving your money, you don't just want to put it in a brick and mortar bank account, because it's right there with your checkings that you can make that transfer almost immediately. So when you're creating structure within your finances, I would recommend that you have one bank that you use for your day-to-day expenses. So when you're going in and you're checking, how much more money do I have to go to brunch with the girlfriends, or how much money do I have to spend on said item, then you know that that money is allocated for spending. I would recommend that you use a separate bank account and a different bank for your savings. When you're creating financial success and financial structures that will lead to that success, sometimes you gotta build in a little bit of friction. You have to make it harder for you to actually access that money so it can really be this ease, out of sight, out of mind. And like, do I really wanna go through the hassle to move this money, wait 3 days and get it so that I can buy said thing? Likely not. So creating structures that allow for a little bit of friction will allow you to save more money. I personally use a high yield savings account, and I love using a high yield savings account because it allows for me to really be disciplined in how I am saving because I've created that friction. A high yield savings account also allows you to grow your money just a little bit so that it starts to feel good, and that you know that even though you're putting this money away, that you're earning some interest. The next strategy that I coach this client to employ is to prioritize your savings. Oftentimes, what we do is we go on, we pay all of our bills, we pay our taxes, right? We pay for our rent, our groceries, utilities, and then at the end, we want to put money away for savings. I would argue that you should prioritize your savings and really put that as a line item in your budget so you understand how the money is flowing. You have your income that is flowing into an account, and either from that same account you have automatic savings to your high yield savings account that allows it to be just freeing. The savings is going to happen automatically, and you know that you have the money in the bank in order to do it because you've put that savings in your budget. Better yet, if you prioritize your savings through your employer's account, what you can do is to actually add a separate account so that this different account will actually receive a set amount for your savings. Now, if you've been struggling to save, and say you are a physician or a nurse practitioner or a nurse and you're making a good salary, then my question to you is, how much are you spending? Sometimes when we're struggling to save, it is because we are not earning enough or we are spending too much. And I would argue that you're likely allowing lifestyle creep to impact your savings. Let me tell you, I had one woman that I was chatting with about increasing her savings, and she told me that she was a traveling nurse and she wanted to live her best life. She wanted to go on the trips and to have the bags and do all of the things. And so therefore she took all of the money, even not withholding taxes, into her paycheck. And she lived her best life. But through that, she also accumulated a little bit of debt. And that is because of lifestyle inflation. If you want to save, you need to make sure that you are living within your means, not necessarily below your means, but within your means, and that line item and that amount that you desire to save is actually budgeted in. So I would ask for you to prioritize your savings. Make your savings as important as paying your mortgage or paying your rent, because when you can start to think about savings is a necessary line item and not something that is optional, and you make that a priority, guaranteed you're going to save more. Now, I just want to pause this video for a second, because if you're watching this video, then you likely want to save more money. And a lot of these tips, tricks that I'm giving you, they actually work. But if you want to have an accountability partner and someone who can help you to go deeper in understanding your finances beyond savings, then hello, I'm your girl, and I do coaching for women in healthcare so that they can really understand their money and have money confidence. No one taught us about money in our training. So this is an opportunity for you to sit down with someone who thinks like you, someone who knows what they're doing and is completely unbiased. I'm not like financial advisors who are trying to sell you packages or products. I am your coach, really focusing on what you need and helping you to foster the confidence so that you can engage with others who can help you grow your wealth and for you to do it independently. So if you are interested in just setting up a call with me, then just click this link below and schedule up a 15-minute discovery call so we can talk about how we might work together so that you can achieve the financial goals that you've set for yourself, or maybe that you don't even know you need, and to continue to build wealth to create the life you desire. All right, now back to the video. Now, if you're doing all of the things and you're like, okay, Brittany, I can't save more. Like, it feels uncomfortable to me. I'm making all of these sacrifices for what? To just put this money in a bank and it's not serving me? Then I wholeheartedly understand. Sometimes when I look at my bank accounts, I'm like, why do we have this much money that is just sitting? You know, the recommendation, depending on who you are and what your risk tolerance is 3 to 6 months in an emergency fund. And depending on how much you have for your living expenses or what that number is, then 3 to 6 months can be a decent chunk of change. And you might look at this money like, oh, I can't go on the trip, I can't do the things that I desire because I have to have 3 to 6 months sitting in this bank account for what reason, just waiting for a rainy day to happen. And let me tell you that I don't want you to feel envious or drudgery or to just not desire to have that money because you are not using it and you don't have the things that you desire. I encourage all of my clients to live in the present moment. If you don't know, I am a woman who is from Flint, Michigan, and I have lost many of my family members, unfortunately, too early. So I know, and I wholeheartedly understand that you can't take it with you, so you need to enjoy today. And so maybe one of the reasons why you are unable to save more is because you have not created enough joy in the present moment. And so you want to think about, how do you maximize and optimize the fun that you're having, your experiences that you're having today, so that you could feel good about putting that money away for a future use. And studies have actually shown, this book here called Happy Money actually shows that when you are spending money on experiences, you actually feel so much better about your money. So if you want to save money, I would really challenge you to go through your expenses and to understand, does this expense actually serve me to make me feel happier, to make me feel more joyful? And if not, I want you to allocate that money into a different account called your fun money account, and really be introspective about what it is that brings you joy, what it is that gives you that fulfillment, that makes you get out of the bed each and every morning to enjoy and seize the day. Because when you spend more money on experiences, when you have more fulfillment in the use of your money, then having that 3 to 6 months in that account is just gonna be like, oh, thank you for being here. And then you see a little bit of interest. That's why I love high yield savings account, because we earn thousands of dollars in interest on our emergency savings because we actually have it in a high yield savings account, opposed to having it in a brick and mortar bank account that gives you 0.1% and over a span of time earns a few dollars. So really evaluate how you're spending your money and optimize your experiences so you can feel good about saving money for your future. And if you are still having some issues with saving money, or you desire to save more money, then my biggest challenge to you is to do a savings challenge. And sometimes I like to say no spend November, which is a really great time. It's a bit challenging, don't get me wrong, because you have Black Friday in November, but it's a really great time for you to implement a savings challenge. Or perhaps you can do this with a few of your girlfriends. It is really important that when you are focusing on saving and really boosting your savings rapidly and aggressively, you gotta gamify it. You gotta make this stuff fun, but because who wants to put money away that they could use today to have fun? I mean, not many of us. So by gamifying it and by doing it with others, you can really make that more enjoyable. And at the end of the challenge, what I would recommend is that you build in rewards. Say your goal is to boost your emergency savings to get to that 6 months. Then you can create milestone celebrations. After you get to your first $1,000 or your first $5,000, you can have a celebration. That 1 month of your expenses, have a celebration. And I'm not saying go on the trip to the Maldives, right? You want to make sure that the celebration is commensurate with the amount that you've saved. So say, for example, if you've saved 1 month of your expenses, then you can do 10% of what you saved and maybe spend that on something. And then just know that after you've used some of that money, you have to replenish it. But giving yourself those little small victories, it could be a coffee, it could be a bag, it could be a small vacation that will allow you to really enjoy what you're doing and to know that your savings are for a reason and not just to sit there and not serve you, but is actually going to help you to have more peace of mind, more financial security, and ultimately more financial success in your future. Now, I do not recommend saving without a purpose. I do not recommend putting all of this money into a high yield savings account for no reason. You should determine what your savings goal is right now, how much you need in that savings account, and once you've reached that threshold, you should allocate money elsewhere or use the rest to enjoy your life. We don't want to hoard money for the sake of hoarding money. We always want to give our money a purpose and to set specific goals to help us achieve the life that we desire. And if you've enjoyed watching this video, if you've learned anything, then I would just ask that you subscribe to the channel and also just drop a comment. Your comments are so meaningful and it really helps other women to find this channel. My goal is to help to change the narrative of women, particularly women in medicine, so that we can use our wealth to create the life that we desire. So I want to thank you in advance for helping me do that, and I will see you on the next one.